All right, my name is Glenn Roberts. I'm chairman of the Board of Zoning Appeals. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Let's see what we got here. First of all, are there any addenda to the agenda?
No, sir.
All right. I'd like to go ahead and start with an invocation then, please. Dear Lord, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to serve the people of Anderson. Help us to make decisions that are wise in your eyes. We ask this in your name. Amen. All right, everybody got a copy of the minutes from August 22nd. Any additions or corrections? I have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Okay. We'll go right into public hearings. We have one on the agenda, AA 24-8, request consideration of an appeal to an administrative interpretation relating to section 1420 of the City of Anderson zoning ordinance.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And this is a little different than what you typically see coming before you. You're usually used to seeing variance requests for setbacks, site-specific type issues coming before you relating to the lay of the land, things like that. But as a Board of Zoning Appeals, you do have other duties. And in the event that a citizen disagrees with the city's administrative interpretation of the zoning ordinance, they can file an appeal to you, the Board of Zoning Appeals, and that's why we're here tonight. The board, you are empowered to hear and decide on the appeal by listening to information provided by the staff, by the applicant, and also by reviewing the regulations and making that interpretation from there. But I'll give you a little bit of background as to why we're here tonight. In July of 2024, the applicant requested to rezone 307 Concord Road from R15 to NC Neighborhood Commercial. Now, moving forward through that process, on August 12th, 2024, the City Council denied that request because they determined that the NC Neighborhood Commercial zoning classification was too intensive for the area. So that's why we're here, but I just wanted to make it clear that the appeal coming before you tonight has nothing to do with the City Council's decision. You're not here to determine whether or not the property should be zoned neighborhood commercial or anything like that. It has nothing to do with what the City Council made a decision on. But the reason why we are here is that since it was denied, the applicant now wishes to reapply for another zoning classification. LO, limited office, is a step down, it's a lesser zoning classification. So he would like to try move that forward with the City Council. But it's the position of the city that another rezoning request cannot be considered for that piece of property for 1 year from the previous denial based on a section in the zoning ordinance. So we'll go over that. So basically, again, this has nothing to do with what the City Council determined, but we're here because the rezoning request was denied and he wishes to move forward with the rezoning request now, essentially, rather than wait 1 year, which would be in August. But the section of the zoning ordinance that we're referring to tonight is section 14.20. It's in the general provisions of the zoning ordinance. It's in your packet, but it's called Reconsideration of Zoning Requests. And it states, whenever a petition requesting an amendment, supplement, or change has been denied by the City Council, such petition or one substantially similar shall not be considered sooner than 1 year after the previous denial. So what the staff is saying, that we are considering the limited office and neighborhood commercial are substantially similar. Therefore, the applicant should wait 1 year before he comes back before City Council, which is in August. Included in your packet are both the NC and LO zoning classifications, so you can make a comparison to that. But the way the staff and the administration of the city looks at it, both the NC and LO zoning classifications are commercial in nature. They both share some of the same permitted uses. So we see NC and LO being substantially similar. Now, the applicant argues that the section of the zoning ordinance that I read a moment ago, and we can go back over it whenever you'd like, he's stating that the zoning ordinance is ambiguous and can be interpreted differently. And again, he would like to go ahead and apply for the rezoning sooner than August. He'd like to apply for the rezoning now rather than wait a few more months. So that is why we are here. But otherwise, he would have to wait until August of 2025 to reapply. But again, the city's interpretation of section 14.2 of the zoning ordinance is that the NC and LO zoning districts are substantially similar, which would require the applicant to wait 1 year from the date of rezoning denial, which was August 12th, 2024. So basically, 1 year would be August of 2025 to request another rezoning application. We have other zoning classifications, as you are aware, in the ordinance: single family, multifamily, things like that. And those could be considered substantial by the staff. Those are different categories altogether. But you, as a board of zoning appeals, you must interpret the zoning language and either uphold the staff's interpretation or rule in favor of the applicant. And in this case, you need to state the reasoning on your decision for this appeal. So basically, we're saying that the NC and LO zoning districts are substantially similar, and it's up to you to determine if they are substantially similar or not. You can ask any questions for me. Also, it's important to note that the applicant is in attendance, and we request that he comes up and state his case as well before you tonight.
Okay. Any questions for staff?
I looked up this section, Maurice, right there. What's it surrounded by? I mean, I know it's right there in that there's a barber shop and.
Yeah, there's mixed use in that area. There's limited office is the predominant use. There's residential. There's actually industrial down the street. So it's a mix of uses. The applicant, he wants to come back for limited office. That's probably a better fit. But again, keep in mind, we're not here to decide upon the zoning at all. We're here to determine whether or not his new request would be substantially similar to his previous request.
Has it not been limited office all these years? That's Horace Road's old office.
It's zoned R15 single family residential. Don't know when that happened. It was at least 1998 was our last zoning iteration of it. So yeah, I don't disagree with you that it's a commercial style building and it should be a zoning commercial of some sort. But again, we're not here to talk about the zoning of the property. We're here to talk about whether or not the applicant can come back within 1 year to reapply for another zoning classification.
Okay, go ahead. My question is, why a year? What's the point of waiting a year?
Well,
that seems arbitrary.
Well, there could be just frivolous reapplications coming in. We try to respect your time as Board of Zoning Appeals, Planning Commissions, Board of Architectural Reviews. And if something gets denied, like, okay, for instance, if it gets denied as neighborhood commercial in August, would it be wise to have somebody come back the next month and apply for the same thing and over? It's just not something that would be in keeping with our rules, regulations, moving forward with it.
But he did neighborhood commercial before, now he's going to try and, so it's not really the same.
That's up to you to decide. I included both sections.
So we're trying to decide if
well, what we are saying, if you go back into regulations and see in section 14.2, whenever a petition requesting an amendment, supplement, or change has been denied by the City Council, such petition or one substantially similar shall not be reconsidered sooner than 1 year after the previous denial. So, we're asking you, is NC and LO substantially similar, or are they not?
Okay, that was my question. Are we saying that, or are we saying it's okay to do it within a year? Which one are we doing?
If you say it's not substantially similar, he could come back and reapply within that year time frame. If you're saying that NC and LO are substantially similar, like the staff is interpreting, he would have to wait that year, which half the year is gone already.
We can't give him a variance on the year.
No, sir.
Okay, all right, that's okay.
Yeah, what we're here before tonight is to discuss the interpretation of that section of the zoning ordinance.
My question, it's always been limited office. If he can apply for a different thing, if I turn it down, it's still limited office.
This is zone R15. It's zone R15 single family residential.
R15 residential, it's not limited office.
It can't
That's
be
what.
you can't limit that, that's not
That's correct. We all agree when we looked through this, when the rezoning came in, that the R15 zoning classification is not appropriate, but that's up to the City Council and Planning Commission to determine what is appropriate. So rezoning it to LO may be something the city council would approve. They did not approve the neighborhood commercial, but we all agree that it's a commercial style building, but it has been vacant for a number of, a long period of time. If it's vacant for more than 4 months, it loses its legal non-conforming status. So that's why it would have to get rezoned to be used again. However, we're not here to discuss the zoning of the property at all.
Yep.
We're here to discuss the interpretation of section 14.2 of the zoning ordinance.
Okay, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, this is just amongst the board, there's no reason to have two different ones if they're not significantly different. But, I mean, why have the different zonings?
Well, I think that's looking at the side by side, I'm just, the most simple way I can do it, comparing and seeing that these are or aren't substantially similar. And I'm just thinking about the categories on this one and the categories on this one, how similar are they and how much do they differ?
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of the question I'm trying to answer.
Do y'all have any more questions for staff, or do you want to listen to, the applicant is here?
I don't see how you lose, if it's because he applied for NC, neighborhood commercial. How did you lose, you know, look, it's still zoned
Well, yeah.
limited office.
We're not, that's, I know, and that's not what we're, as Maurice saying, that's not what we're discussing, but yeah, I agree, everything in there is limited office as it is.
Right.
It's probably what it should be.
Well,
But-
he's froze and can't do anything with it right now.
So let's,
Is that right, Maurice?
I didn't understand
He
your
can't
question.
do anything with the property now.
He would have to get it rezoned to something in order to use it in a commercial manner. So since it was denied,
but it can't be used in residential manner right now.
it could be, well, I mean, he could tear the building down and build it residentially,
Okay.
but, so we understand that. So that's the reason why, coming back as limited office, you know, could be a successful rezoning, but section .14.2 states that you must wait a year if it's substantially similar, and the staff is stating that NC and LO are substantially similar.
Okay, all right.
Yep, thank you.
All right, any more questions for staff? Mr. Rhodes, if you'd like to stand up, state your name, and, I already said your name, but you stand up and let's see your side of the story.
Okay, well, my name's Barry Rhodes. The property at 307 Concord is in my mom's name. You know, Dad has had that property since the late 50s. And early last summer, we had a coffee truck that was interested in really just leasing the dirt and using the front two offices, which is about 600 square feet of office space and a bathroom, mainly for them to have a little bit extra storage space for cups, because the coffee truck was self-contained and everything, and to have a bathroom. And at that time, it was always my understanding, if I was ignorant of this, I don't know, but it was limited office at that time. And we thought they'd be a good tenant. They would have been. So somebody from the city came by, saw the coffee truck, said we'd have to apply for getting it rezoned to neighborhood commercial, because they considered the coffee truck a restaurant, even though the health department didn't. But it was no problem. We did it. Thought we had a reasonable chance to get it rezoned. That was denied, and once I heard their reasons, I understood. They said it was a coffee truck, it was mobile. A year from now, they could leave, and we could put a restaurant, gas station, anything there. So I understood their reasoning. So I said, well, we'll just go back to limited office. We'll just rent the front two offices out, like we have done on several different occasions, and that'd be okay. My main reason for going all through this is, so my mom owns some property, and she's 90 years old, and all we're trying to do is get a little bit of rental income off those front two offices, just to cover the property taxes and insurance. You know, we're not trying to change anything. We've been great neighbors there for over 50 years, and that's all we're trying to continue to do. And I know it's, as Maurice said earlier, it's not that much difference in time frame, but it is if you're me and you listen to your mama every day saying, you know, what's going on with the property? When can I rent it again? And so our only goal is, is just to be able to rent that out to, hopefully ideal tenant, real estate agent, accountant, insurance, whatever. And, continue to be good neighbors like we always have. We're not trying to disrupt the community or the neighborhood in any way. And, I'm 65, and as long as I'm alive, there'll never be anything done with the property, as far as development or anything else. So it's not going to disrupt the neighborhood in any way. Like I said, my main goal is to get it done sooner than later. I know you gentlemen, I know he kind of has some compassion for that. 6 months ain't much, but it is when you spend 4 or 5 hours a day with your mama taking care of her. And when you gonna get something done about this? So that's my reason for being here. So I appreciate your consideration.
All right, any questions for the applicant?
What drove NC versus LO in the initial application?
Man, I'll answer that. Good question. The applicant, as he mentioned, he wanted to have a coffee truck at the location. In NC, you can have restaurants, which that would qualify for. In LO, it does not allow restaurants. So that's the difference. And as the applicant mentioned, and then we've already talked amongst the staff, is that the LO zoning request that would come next is something that we would be supportive of in that area, because I believe you mentioned earlier, or asked the question, what were the other land uses in the area? We'd be supportive of it, but again, it comes down to when will we be supportive of it? Do we need to wait a year or not? Based on the zoning ordinance interpretation, it's the staff and the administration at the city stating that those two zoning classifications are substantially similar. So it doesn't come down to what we support, what we think is the best zoning classification for the property. It's how long do we act upon it?
All right, any more questions for staff?
I have something to say to Mr. McKenzie. The next eligibility to apply for this is in August. Now we're already almost at the end of January, so we're not looking at a year. We're looking at X amount of months. From here to August is what?
Right.
Like 7 months.
Right. Let me think here. We're at the end of January now. So if he applied for a rezoning tomorrow, it would go before the Planning Commission in March. And it's possible by the end of March it could be finalized, but that's the absolute earliest it would be complete if we started the process right now. So.
Well, the reason I'm saying that, normally this board goes over backwards to help the people in the city. In this case, I don't feel comfortable with having to do this now when it's only just a matter of a few months. And Mr. Rhodes, nothing personal, and I understand, your mother's age. This is, hey, I'm old myself. You know what I'm saying? But the rule is the rule. If we go ahead and approve this, then we've set a precedent where we might have to do it again with another case. And I because of the fact that it's only like 6 or 7 months away, I cannot approve this. I'd have to, from my point of view, I have to vote denial for this.
I can say this, I've been on this board for over 20 years. I've had this first case like this, it's come in front of me.
Yes, exactly.
It's not like the precedents are going.
Exactly.
It's not like they're coming up every day saying, or, they're going to have something built there saying, oh, they did it, because number one, nobody probably ever known, and two, it just doesn't come up that often.
So my question, Maurice, he cannot do anything with the property until it goes back.
In order to do something commercially that what he's wanting to do, market it commercially and all that, it would need to be rezoned to something commercial, because right now,
Even though it's already zoned that way.
it is zoned
It's zoned R15, so
R15,
it's zoned
single-family residential right now. What it looks like on the road is one thing, but it's been vacant for a period of time, so it's lost any kind of non-conforming status it's had. So right now, it's R15. That's the reason for the requests to rezone it. So in order for him to do it, yeah, he would need to now I reply to for LO limited office, since NC was, gone through that process and it wasn't successful, LO would be his next best option.
And that's I think it is sort of significantly different, because he's not gonna be able to still not gonna be able to put the coffee truck up there or anything, things that he wanted to do.
Yeah, so they're
But they'll take it back.
substantially similar is what you're
So all we're saying is it similar or not similar?
Substantially different, because the limited office keeps you in a business class, where the neighborhood commercial gives you a little bit more reach. with restaurants.
Right, so that's what we're asking, are they
And that's
significantly
what they're
different?
asking us,
I
yeah.
understand.
It's not even the time, are the two things different? Is limited office different than neighborhood commercial?
Right.
Yes,
So
substantially,
Maurice-
are they substantially similar or not?
Right,
Yeah.
so Maurice, your question to us, and I hate to keep repeating this, is like, when I said, first time we're seeing this, right? So
Yeah.
if it's deemed substantially different, the 12-month window is out the door.
Right, he can apply tomorrow.
He can
And,
apply tomorrow.
and that's not really our concern.
Yeah, we would just need that reasoning behind the decision, sure.
Yeah, so, any more discussion? What's the pleasure of the board? Anybody like to make a motion?
I guess we should also clarify what we're motioning and what we're in this case.
Well, if you make a motion, that's what you're going to.
Yes, sir.
You'd make a
Please.
motion, I make a motion that
Okay.
the neighborhood commercial is significantly different than limited office. That's not really all you'd have to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
I can't make a motion.
Yeah,
What do
y'all
you
can
do?
just do. Maurice, we talk about it more. I mean, I would say that based on if he's not going to be able to do any kind of restaurant work there, it would be different. A different classification from neighborhood commercial to limited office. If you went that direction.
It's not a house, you can't do it.
Right.
Well, and unfortunately, Olin, they're asking us just basically.
I think my point would be, why have the different classifications if they're not different?
Right. I mean, we can have further discussion. I would make a motion that they are different,
Okay.
based on if he's not gonna be able to do restaurant work there, that is a different class.
So
What-
you make.
What was the motion? Yeah, I couldn't hear what,
Did you make a motion, or?
I'm saying, Maurice, unless we hear something else to compel us, I mean, if we're saying that it negates restaurant or anything related, I think these two classes are different.
Okay.
are substantially, or they're not substantially similar, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, that, you're,
Not
I'm just reading for 14,
Yeah, they're
but
not
it says
substantially
are substantially similar, so yeah, you have to think opposite. So you're stating that the two uses are not substantially similar.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Mr. Advocate.
We have no interest in no restaurant or anything else.
And that's not what
Yeah.
that's not what we're
And
saying.
I apologize.
Yeah, okay.
Just to let you know.
Yeah, but just to be clear, Mr. Jeffers, you're saying that you're stating, based on, you noted that since there's not a restaurant use is not allowed in limited office, you're saying that propels the difference, and you're saying that's what makes them substantially different, I guess, is what, not to put words in your mouth, I'm just trying to make it
That's
clear in the
what
motion.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that distinction seems to key the fit.
Would anybody like to make a motion? Peter?
We need a second on that.
Was that in the form of a motion?
Oh, I thought it was. Was that a motion or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have
And
a motion.
in the motion, you're ruling that, you're stating that the NC and LO are substantially different.
Yes,
Okay, just make it clear for the record, because it's confusing at times.
yeah.
It is, and then you use the word substantial, it's like saying reasonable.
Yes, not substantially similar, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign.
Nay.
Got one nay,
Two negative.
two nays.
So 3-2?
No, it's 2-2. So I'll vote, I'll vote that they are significantly
Oh,
different.
so yeah, so it's 3-2, correct?
It's 3-2
Yep.
now.
That's right, thank you, because chairman votes in the case of a tie in this case, so Mr. Perdomo, Mr. Wright voted, okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
So, that variance, I guess it's not a pass, is what is that?
It's, basically, you ruled in favor of the applicant
Okay.
on the city's interpretation.
Okay.
Yes. We'll handle it from there. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Anything in the addenda?
No, sir, that's it for tonight.
All right.
Appreciate y'all coming out.
We have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved, second? Second here, all approved, say aye. Aye. You know what I mean? Do we get any ayes? Aye. All opposed, like sign, we're adjourned.
I got a baby, baby. Two of us.